You settle into your rough straw mattress, the wooden beams above creaking as the cold night air squeezes its way through the gaps in the roof. Outside, the wind howls in long, drawn-out breaths, rattling the shutters as though it's trying to remind you just how thin the barrier is between you and the deep winter. Your blanket, scratchy wool, patched in places with whatever cloth could be found, smells faintly of smoke from the fire that burned earlier. It's the kind of smell that seeps into everything you own, your clothes, your hair, even your skin. But here, in the dark, that smoky scent feels oddly comforting. It means warmth. It means life. Tonight is one of those nights where you don't just go to bed, you retreat into it. The cold makes you smaller, curling you into yourself, pulling your knees close and tucking your chin into your chest. Somewhere at your feet, a small, wiry shape shifts, the family's cat, keeping warm alongside you. She doesn't belong to you in the modern sense of the word. She belongs to the village, to the barns, to the grain stores, but on nights like these, she chooses you. The fire in the hearth has burned low. By now, the only light is the faint orange glow of embers, pulsing in the darkness like a slow, sleepy heartbeat. You know that keeping it going through the night is a luxury. Firewood doesn't grow in neat stacks. It comes from hours of gathering, chopping, and drying, and there's never enough. In the dead of winter, every log is precious. You shift slightly, careful not to wake your younger brother sleeping beside you. The two of you share this bed year-round, but in winter, the closeness is a blessing. Body heat is the most reliable warmth you have. Your mother and father sleep on the other side of the room, wrapped in their own layers, the steady rhythm of their breathing mixing with the faint hiss of wind at the window. It's not truly silent. It never is in a medieval village. Somewhere in the dark you can hear the low, steady grunt of the oxen in their pen. Animals who are as much your lifeline as any human. Their warmth, too, is part of your survival. Many families bring their livestock inside for the night during the coldest months, the animals' bodies radiating heat into the room. It makes the air thick, earthy, and not always pleasant, but it keeps the frost from biting too deep. Your thoughts wander, as they often do before sleep, to the small rituals that fill your winter days. In the morning, there will be the task of breaking the ice on the water bucket. The bread from yesterday will be harder now, and you'll soak it in warm broth if you can. If not, you'll chew slowly, letting your own breath warm it enough to swallow. You think of the rushes on the floor, those flattened reeds and straw mixed with dried herbs to keep pests away. They crunch underfoot, and every few weeks they must be replaced. In summer, the scent of the herbs is sweet and pleasant. In winter, it's muted, a faint reminder of seasons past. You remember the insulation tricks your family uses, stuffing gaps in the walls with moss, hanging spare cloth over the door, keeping every pot, pan, and jar near the fire so that nothing freezes solid. Sometimes you even sleep with a heated stone wrapped in cloth at your feet, a comfort that fades as the night stretches on, but still buys you an extra hour or two of ease. The wind outside shifts, now bringing with it the muffled sound of the village watchman's bell. It's not an alarm, just the slow, steady chime that marks the passing of another hour. You can picture him, wrapped in layers, pacing his slow circuit through the dark streets. His job is less about guarding against danger, and more about reminding everyone that the world is still moving out there, even in the depths of night. Your mind drifts to the day's labors. Winter doesn't mean rest. There's still work, repairing tools, mending clothes, tending animals, and keeping the firewood dry. And when snow falls heavily, there's the slow, back-breaking work of clearing paths. No task is too small when survival is at stake. You think of the long winter ahead, the hunger that will gnaw harder as the months go on, the grain stores that will need to be carefully measured, each scoop a calculation of how many days remain. You've seen winters when the food runs out before the thaw, You've seen neighbors grow thin and pale, and yet you've also seen the way people come together when times are hardest, sharing what they can, telling stories to pass the dark hours, singing softly to keep spirits from sinking too low. The cat shifts again at your feet, curling tighter, and you find yourself matching her shape. Outside, the wind dies down for a moment, and in the stillness you can hear the faint drip of water. Somewhere, snow is melting, even in this bitter cold. The world is always moving toward spring, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Your eyelids grow heavy. The last thing you see before sleep claims you is the soft glow of embers breathing in the darkness, the heartbeat of your home. You wake before the sun. It isn't the light that stirs you. There's none yet, but the quiet shifting of the house around you. A board creaks under your father's step as he moves toward the hearth. You hear the faint rasp of flint against steel, a sound you've heard nearly every morning of your life, followed by the soft puff of his breath, coaxing flame into the embers. The air in the room feels sharper now. The night's warmth faded away. You can see your own breath in the dim light, little clouds forming and vanishing in front of your face. The wool blanket clings to you with a stubborn heaviness, and for a moment you don't want to leave it. But you know the longer you wait, the harder it will be to face the cold. Your brother stirs beside you, muttering something half-formed in his sleep. You step carefully over him, your bare feet meeting the rushes on the floor, flattened, dry, and brittle from use. They scratch faintly against your skin, but they're better than the cold planks beneath. The room is still mostly dark, but the fire is growing, casting a low, flickering light across the walls. It dances over the small collection of tools hanging neatly by the door, the clay pots lined up on the shelf, and the bundle of dried herbs dangling from the rafters. Your mother is already at work, breaking the thin crust of ice that has formed on the water bucket. The crack is sharp, almost like breaking glass, and she uses a wooden ladle to stir it until the water is drinkable. Her hands are red from the cold, but her movements are practiced and efficient. Breakfast is a quiet affair, a heel of bread, hard from the night, softened in a shallow bowl of warm broth. It's simple, plain, but enough to start the day. You eat slowly, letting the steam rise toward your face. The smell of the broth mixes with the lingering scent of wood smoke and damp wool. Outside, the first hints of daylight are beginning to touch the horizon, though the sky remains pale and muted, as if the sun itself is reluctant to rise. You pull on your outer layer, a patched tunic, and step out into the yard. The cold hits you instantly, a sharp breath against your skin, but the air is clean and still. You check on the animals first. The oxen are awake, steaming breath curling into the frosty air. They watch you with slow, patient eyes, their massive bodies shifting in the pen. The chickens are quieter than usual, huddled together for warmth, but one or two pack idly at the ground. The village is stirring, though the sounds are faint, the distant thud of an axe splitting wood, the soft murmur of voices carrying through the still air, the faint jingle of a cart's harness as it's prepared for the day's work. Somewhere far off, a dog barks once and then falls silent again. You take a moment to simply stand and breathe it in, the deep quiet of a winter morning, the way the frost clings to the thatch roofs, the way smoke rises straight and thin from the chimneys before fading into the pale sky. There's work ahead, there always is, but for now you feel a small sense of victory. You made it through another night. The cold hasn't beaten you yet, and as the day begins, you know that each one survived is a step closer to spring. You turn back toward the house, the smell of the growing fire reaching you through the door. Inside, it's warmer already, the light stronger. The cat from the night before is curled near the hearth, one eye half open, as if she's been keeping watch in her own way. You close the door behind you, ready to face the day, knowing that tonight will bring its own battle with the cold, and that you'll meet it just as you always have.